What's going on, Lyle?
Hey, Mark. How's it going, buddy?
Good. Welcome, everybody, to Panfish Station.
That's
My name is Mark, co-host of the Great Lyle Stokes, man. What's going on? How's that weather by you, Lyle?
You know, it was 63 here today, and I was down south, and it was 75 there today.
My goodness. I went, it's 39 degrees here, and I'll take it. It was 50 degrees today. I took a ride down to, I took a ride out to Winthrop Harbor today to check out the lakefront and pick up some salmon gear out there. It's about an hour and a half for me. So it was a nice little ride, but I got to check out the big lake there. It's like 3-4 foot rollers out there, waves. I sent you a picture. Yeah. Waves are ripping pretty good. But it was nice to get out there. I talked to Rob over at Lake Michigan Angling. It's a bait shop out there, a big one, probably the most major big lake bait shop out there. He was real helpful. He pointed me in the right direction. So he gave me some tips and some ideas. And I went over to the launch, which I haven't been to, North Point launch out there. And man, that place is big, Lyle.
Is it?
8 lanes across to get to launch.
Nice. Should have to wait terribly long to put your boat in there.
Yeah, I hope not. We'll see what happens.
Do you have to pay to launch there?
$10, which isn't too bad.
It depends on who's shelling out the 10 smokers.
Well, you know, if I'm going out on the big lake, I'm always going to have a co-angler, and if it's my boat, they can pay the launch fees.
I agree 100%, and half the gas.
I'm sure they can do that. Usually, I don't ask for that. Launch fees is good. I'll use it. Here's my deal. At least on the river, it's bring bait and pay the launch fees.
There ain't nothing wrong with that, but you know, people, and we've talked about this before. But people don't understand it costs a lot of money to operate a boat.
Mm-hmm.
It just does. It costs money to operate it. And if they want to go fishing and ride in your boat, it doesn't hurt them at all just to help out just a little bit. They don't have to pay for everything. Just make an effort. And that goes a long ways.
Donations are accepted.
That's correct. That's correct.
For the most part. Especially, you know, I take a few of the younger guys out here on the river, at least, especially when I'm flathead fishing, like Eli and a couple other guys. And them guys are machines when it comes to throwing that cast net. So they'll get that bait. They'll have it they'll have it ready to go by the time I meet them at the boat ramp. So that's always a plus.
That's always a good thing when you got some young guy that likes to throw a cast net. Even if he don't like to do it, if he'll do it, that's okay.
Yeah, I gotta actually. I hate to tell you this, but I did a little shopping last night online.
Without me.
Without you, bud.
I'm so heartbroken.
I bought a cast net.
What kind did you get?
I got the Whisker Seeker ones. You know, they're good to me. So I picked up one of them. I got a 7-foot, what is it, a 3/8 inch mesh. A lot of the guys out here are telling me that's what you want to use for the shad we got out here. So I think that'll work good. So
it'll be nice. Small shad?
For the most part, yeah, there's a lot of small shad out here.
Okay. So. I like it. If I can find them, I like the 1/2-inch mesh. That way all the little ones go out and all you keep is the big ones. Yeah. Because I've showed you pictures of when I'm on shad, and it's almost impossible to pull the net up when you're really on them. That's because using that small mesh net. But if they're running small and you need bait, then that's the action.
You'll take it. You know, I'll shake them out of the net if I have to before I drop them into the bait tank when that happens. So
Bugman says he got a cast net in the mail today. Video to follow.
Who said that?
Bugman 22.
Oh, cool, Buggy. Yeah. So that's I got that, and I got, you know, because we're gonna have that cooking show here, not too far from, well, not in the too distant future is the term I'm looking for.
Correct.
And what?
Correct.
Yeah, and I ordered some because I was out some of the Whisker Seekers breading to try some of that stuff and let people know how it's going, and then I'll use mine. I'll do a taste test between the corn breading and the flour that I use that method. We'll see how they turn out. So
I don't remember who it was, Mark. I think it was Chris. Remember Fishing with Chris that we had on here with us?
Yep.
I think it was him that he does some catches and cooks, and I believe that he had that. But now, if you ever watch any of Chris's catch and cooks, he doctors everything up a little bit with something warm.
Mm-hmm.
and he doctored that up, and he said with that it was really, really good. So
they have a Cajun one that I'll tell you, I've been through bags of this stuff. They've sent me a bunch of it in the past, and I finally ran out, which is why I went on the site to go buy some. Ended up buying a cast net in addition to the breading.
Damn, I think you should have let me help you.
It was a last minute thing. It was late too, bud.
I was up.
But their Cajun one's pretty darn hot. It's pretty spicy to begin with. So,
well, that's what he had. And he added something, Frank's Red Hot or something to it.
Mm-hmm.
But like I say, Chris does a lot of that, and it doesn't matter what he uses; he doctors it all up. So
yeah, you got to make it. You got to make a show out of it. I got a couple of secret stuff I might share with everybody when we do that. What you know? What we're going off here, and I need to say hello to everybody in chat. What do you say, Lyle?
I think it's a great idea, buddy.
All right, I see Benoit. Excuse me, Benoit Fishing Outdoors. There's Buggy. How you doing, Buggy? Butterflies and Sunshine. There's Miss Cindy Stokes. How you doing, Cindy? There's Calvin Kayak Fishing. What's up, Calvin? Crappie Day. Darren, how you doing, Darren? There's my buddy Ernie Brown. What's going on, Ernie? Say hello to Chrissy. Greg Burgess in the house. There's our buddy Jason Lamb. He's a heck of an angler. And I had a chance to fish with him a couple years ago, or spend some time with him at least. There's Jersey channel supporter. What's going on, Jersey? I did I see Joe Buck earlier? Joe Buck's probably watching. How you doing, Joe Buck? What's going on, bud? There's Randy.
He'll be here.
Yeah, there's Randy, old gray hair, Swain. Say hello to Lisa for us. There's Schmieder the Cedars. We always love to see Mr. Schmieder in there. There's Josh over at the Weekend Angler. Did I miss it? Butterflies and Sunshine. Hopefully I got you. How you doing, Butterflies? I think that's it for right now. If you guys pop in, we'll say hello definitely. So
absolutely.
All right, let's see what else we got here. I saw a couple of notifications from Chrissy. She was been a member for over a month. I think she was gifted that membership. Chrissy, welcome to the member club. There's me. I've been a member for 23 months. How time
Thank
flies.
Thank you guys so much. There's Matt with Want to Be Outdoors has joined us.
What's going on, Matt? How you doing, bud?
Haven't seen him in a day or two.
I've been seeing him online here and there. It's always good to see Matt. He sent me some pictures. He sent me a picture of a 6-pound bluegill that was a world record. I think I've seen that picture a while back.
6 pounds?
6 pounds. I'll have to send it. Why don't I share that? Give me a second here, and I will share that picture and give full credit to Matt for sending it to me.
I'm only looking for a 1-pounder right now.
Let me see here. See if I can get it. Oh, it's actually a TikTok, so maybe I can show it. Maybe I can't. Oh, there we go. I paused it. Oh, hold on. Maybe we'll show it. Hold on a second here. Let me share the screen here. Oh, they changed all the buttons around here for us. Where's the share? Invite, present. There it is.
There's Northeast Missouri Angler has joined us. Greg Burgess. Good to see Dennis in there.
What's going on, Dennis? How you doing?
Dennis has had some health issues. I visited with him through text the other day, and I was really glad to know that he's doing better. I didn't know that he had health problems, but I'm glad to see him straightened out and on the healing way right now.
Look at the size of that thing, Lyle.
My God, Mark, that's just unfriggin' believable.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Wow.
And there's a picture of the scale right there. It's 6.3 pounds.
Man.
That's insane. Crazy.
Yes.
But we love to see it, man. We love them big bluegills.
Absolutely. And they don't have to be that big.
No, not even close. I'll be a happy man. All right. So back to my story. Head out to Lake Michigan angling out in Winthrop Harbor. And on the way there, I drove over the Fox River over at 176 here, up in the Crystal Lake, Burton Bridge area. And guess what, Lyle? The ice was melting. The whole middle of the river was opened up.
Wow, that's great news. I see a lot of open water today, and it's thawing everywhere, so I'm excited about that. Dennis said we fished Saturday over Sunday. So Saturday or Sunday.
Is that an invite or is that him saying that he's fishing?
I don't know, but I have plans for this weekend, so I have stock car races on Sunday, you know.
Oh, speaking of that, wasn't there a special guest a couple weeks ago at NASCAR? Our buddy DJ.
Yeah, Trump was at Daytona this year. That's the second time he's been at Daytona.
That's pretty incredible. That's good for him. Not too many presidents go to that. So
then it says it's an invite. I'm sorry, I can't make it this weekend. To be quite honest, Dennis, I had trolling motor batteries go bad, and I hadn't replaced them with the new battery that I got. So I was doing that the last couple of days, and the steps and stuff that I put on my boat to get in and out of it, my legs are so sore I can barely walk. I ain't shitting you. I mean, them muscles in my leg ain't used to climbing steps that are 2 foot high. I'd hate to think I had to crawl up in a deer stand without doing some exercises first. My God, Mark, you can't believe how sore I was from that.
I actually probably, I'm pretty sure I can, but I know you were, so hopefully you'll be feeling better soon. You know, I was listening to the Duck Call Room, which is the Duck Dynasties guys. They got a podcast. I was listening to it in the car today, and they had said something about, you know, they were talking about the father and the mother of the family and how they're in bad shape. I guess they've had surgeries, and Mr. Robertson's not doing so great. Mrs. Robertson's having some health issues, and Cy, the brother, you know, everybody loves Cy, said something to the fact of, you know, it's just the way it is. It's where you are in life. You got to accept it or not. So just deal with it the best you can.
Yeah, well, I don't like it, but there ain't a whole lot you can do about it. Or if there is, I haven't figured it out yet. But Phil Robertson is one of the greatest duck callers and duck hunters there ever was. And they make duck calls. I mean, that's not just a thing for their show. They make duck calls, and they make great duck calls. They're really good, and they sound like a duck. So many of these companies make duck calls, and they don't really sound like a duck, but theirs sounds like a duck. And if you can't call them in with their calls, you probably shouldn't. Maybe you should be fishing.
Maybe you should be playing golf.
Yeah. Speaking of which, while we're on the golf subject, I don't remember if it was you or Josh or just who it was, or maybe, I don't know, somebody said that they seen a picture of Luke in Florida with his girlfriend, not a fishing pole in sight, but he found time to play golf. What is wrong with that boy?
I don't know. I saw a picture on Luke's Facebook page of a big golf net in his garage. It says he's going to use it to play golf at home, to drive some balls and stuff. So
I got something to say about that, but I'll just hold it for myself.
There's a creator on TikTok. I think it's called Mike's Crappie Fishing. I think it's a local guy here, and the guy, it's a shtick. He claims to be the world's worst fisherman. You know, he like goes out and gets skunked every day and whatever. And every one of his videos that come up on my timeline, I always just reply golf.
That's funny right there, because I'm telling you, man, if golf was invented for people that can't catch fish, I'm convinced of that.
It could be. All the people with all that money, they just had other people fish for them for food, plain and simple.
You know, there was a great comedian back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, and he said, just look at all the housing you could build for the homeless on them golf courses.
Yeah.
George Carlin.
I remember that. And those ponds are pretty good fishing too, from what I understand.
I understand that too. And if you know somebody, you can get in on that and catch a few. And usually they got bluegill and bullheads and
a lot of bass, Lyle, right up your alley, bud.
Thank you so much for that.
I usually don't pick on you except for that.
That's all right. I can handle it. You know,
I might try going after some smallmouth this year. We'll see what happens.
I go out to catch fish if I'm pan fishing, and that's a pan fish, and if it's not too big, it'll fit in the pan and we're going to eat it.
I ain't gonna lie. The only reason I want to catch one's because I want to confirm that those smallmouth bass sandwiches taste as good as I remember, Lyle.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Look at this here, Mark. Greg Burgess says him and his grandson went fishing last night. First time in 2 years. Caught 8 blues, 1 channel on chicken. His biggest was 8 pounds, and his was and Greg's was 20. Sounds like a fun night, buddy. I'm glad you guys got out and got on them, man.
Love to hear it, man. Love to hear it. It's good to get them kids out. You know what? I was in somebody's live and they were talking about taking their kid fishing and stuff. And I was having flashbacks at taking my nieces fishing and how much fun that was and good time. They're all grown now, so it doesn't happen too much. So I guess I'm going to have to wait till they start having kids. Then I'll take them fishing.
And that's what you do. That's exactly what you do. Matt says if you have a chance to fish or golf and you choose to golf, you're more mental than he is. That's awesome, man.
He also says smallmouth sandwich tastes delicious.
I have to agree with that. But you know what? I'll take a largemouth or a rock bass or any of them. A wise man once told me that for every bass you harvest and eat is one less that's going to eat bluegill and crappie. And that wise man, James Dockery.
I agree. Bass makes good bait if it's legal. Go ahead.
Maybe I'm stretching the wise man part a little bit, but he did say that, honestly.
James knows how to give you a hard time, so he's a wise man in that aspect.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Him and I are going to be going fishing one of these days.
That'll be cool. Hopefully I'll get out there too and fish with you. Hopefully this year. We'll see what happens.
Forward to it. We will have a great time, I promise. And if we catch fish, it'll be a bonus. How's that?
I agree. Well, we'll catch fish.
Yeah.
We'll catch some fish. All right, Lyle. So ice out fishing. That's the topic that you picked for tonight. So I made a list of stuff that we could talk about. Let's talk. Like the first thing that came to mind is timing. Wouldn't you agree? You got to get out there at the right time.
Yep.
And I'm not talking about the right time of the day. I'm talking about the right time of the weather, the season. You know what I mean? In addition to right time of the day. What are you looking for? Well, you not so much. I'll tell you what I look for when the ice is melting. I'm looking for 40 degrees water temp.
Okay.
If I got 40 degrees water temp, it's game on. Not for flathead. Flathead, you got to wait till about 50 degrees, at least for a week. At least that's what around here is what works for me. But 40 degrees, game's on. You're going to get bluegill bite, obviously. The crappie are still schooled up. They're not running that shallow, but they're still schooled up. They're starting to eat. A bass, if that's your thing, obviously. Perch bites pretty good all the time, so you ain't got to worry about that. But walleye, sauger, things like that. 40 degrees is the water temp that I'm usually looking for.
Greg Burgess says, I want to send some pictures. Where do I send them? Pics at theweekendangler@gmail.com. I believe, Josh, if you're in here and that's not right, please correct me.
If Greg, are we friends on Facebook? You'd always send me my Facebook account too, bud. Or if if Josh gets them in his email, he can always forward them to me on Facebook as well, and I can show them there. So what's going on, Aaron? How you doing? Look at that. Josh posted that already. So time of the year, creeping into the 40-degree range, that's for sure. Keep an eye on local weather. You got to watch the wind as well, because in the spring, at least in this part, once the weather starts warming up, that causes all sorts of thermal winds and such. So it'll just make your life miserable. That's as far as timing goes. Everybody's chomping at the bit, but you'll go out there and there's still ice on the edges. If that water temperature isn't up there, it's going to be rough going. I'm not saying not to go out, but don't go out with high expectations. Now, where do you usually target, Lyle? First trips of the year?
Channel cats and blues.
Okay, but where though? Where are you looking?
I'm looking around structure, like if I go to a lake that's got a bunch of trees and stuff that's in it, they'll be hanging out around there because bugs are coming out now and they're falling off in the water. And We can get them snacked.
We don't have the bugs here yet, at least not the ones that are falling into the water. So basically what I do is I'm looking at bays, inlets, anywhere where the water temperature is warmer than the rest of it. Shallow areas with dark bottoms. You don't have to get out first thing in the morning. You can wait till a little later once it gets warmed up by the sun. We all know that. Definitely anything that draws bait fish in those shallows, like the structure that you're talking about, for sure. Bass, pike, walleye, panfish, crappie, not so much, but all of those pretty much. And the darker bottoms, the reason why I like those is because muddy, flat, dark bottoms in the shallows, because it absorbs sun for the most part. It's like a big solar panel.
It's true. Matt says near rocks, they heat up faster, and the water, I think they do it. And sandbars on the river is another good place.
I agree. Sandbars are good. Also, there's still some vegetation left over from the year before last. Vegetation will absorb heat too. So if you got like some weeds left over from the year before, even if they're down and decaying, they'll absorb some heat. Now, if you're fishing from the bank, those are the things definitely to look for. In a boat, obviously, you can keep an eye on the water temp on your graph, and it'll be a lot better. So. Hello, Mr. Tuck. How you doing? We got a new member in chat. Welcome to the channel. Let's see what Aaron has to say. He says, I've been checking my pond every day since last week. Was frozen, and now it's in the 70s every day. I've been watching fish activity get better and better as the water warms in Oklahoma. Very cool. That's another thing I like to do. This time of year, I'm taking a lot of rides in my truck out, whether it's to the river or just keeping an eye out on the ponds as I drive by, any of the creeks that we got around here, the small ones, looking for flowing water, things like that. So,
well, like we was talking earlier, the water or the ice is starting to dissipate a little bit. So the water's poking through and running. If you have running water, the ice will soon be gone. I was over the Lake of the Ozarks today, and there was some ice in the back of a few of the coves, but most everything I seen was gone. There was actually people in boats out on the lake, so that's telling you it's not too bad.
I was looking for boats today. I didn't see any. Nothing yet, even though, well, I imagine by next week it will. There's guys complaining on the forums about the ice fishing being done for the year, and I'm like, it was actually for them. It just started really heating up here in the last 2 weeks. I've seen a lot of guys that I know get a lot of good fish out there up on the chain, so they're pretty sad to see it go.
You know who I don't feel sorry for about not having any ice?
Who's that?
Dockery.
Oh, Dockery.
I don't think he'd been sick. Him and Katie both been sick. But now, if I'm correct, I don't think he got to go ice fishing at all. And if that is the case, and I'm pretty sure that it is, I find that extremely funny because he's the one that wanted that cold weather.
He'll get back out there. I know James loves to go ice fishing for those trout out by him.
What is that?
Cat food, but that's another.
Okay.
Smart trout is good, but this is as far as I'm gonna go.
Oh man. Greg says they were on the bank. I thought you might have been.
Aaron says he had the kayak in it yesterday, had a couple of crappie bites and bluegill who were starting to smoke my worms off quick. Yep, now
them bluegill should be getting ready to turn on. And I've been hearing stories of people catching crappie already in southwest Missouri and on the east side of the state that they're already forming eggs. So I thought that was a little early, but
it could be. Well, Missouri's a lot warmer than what I'm used to, so they're still out in the basin now. But I think they're going to start running shallow here in the next couple of weeks. So we'll look forward to them. My plan is to chase after walleye and crappie at the beginning of the season. I mean, we'll do some channel catfishing too, but I'm going to see if I can get on. I need to figure out that spring walleye bite on my river. I think it'd definitely be possible. I'm just going to have to get her done. Do a lot of exploring, which I really like to do. So,
well, walleye fishing. I've told you before, and I think I've mentioned it on here. The only time I walleye fish is when I'm crappie fishing and I get into the walleye after crappie or bluegill. I don't specifically target them. And I know there's guys that do and are very successful at it, but that's just not me. But if he gets on my jig, it's going to meet the grease.
There you go. You know, and that brings something up to mind that we talk about all the time. Fish for what you got. Up north in Wisconsin and stuff, walleye is such a sought after fish because that's what they have.
And that's exactly it.
It's good eating. It's fun to chase. They're not by means, they're not any hard fighting fish. I mean, even that 27.5 incher that I caught this year, my new PB, it fought pretty hard. But that same day, I got a flathead on that same rod and reel, and that flathead was probably just as many pounds as that walleye, and it fought a heck of a lot harder. That's for sure.
I'm sure it did.
But then again, you know, you got to get enjoyment out of the chase and out of the meal and stuff and success and whatever you're chasing.
That's right.
Greg Burgess says, thanks, guys. Try and learn how to get my channel going so you guys can enjoy the cage life. When you get it going, Greg, make sure to just let us know and we'll share it out, see if we can't get you some subscribers. So.
Absolutely.
Aaron says the inside corners where the wind's blowing towards the corner and the sun hits most of the day. Those are definitely good tips.
Yep.
Definitely good tips.
If you're looking for bluegill and even channel cast, as far as that goes, if you could find a tree that's been in the water for a long time, that treetop, you'll lose some stuff, but it's definitely a good place to hit. Root balls too, though.
Yep. Hey, there's Lisa. Mark, Lyle. I felt honored to open my Facebook and get a friend request from Lyle. Man, I was on cloud nine.
I just seen that I got a thing. It goes across, everybody gets them, I know, of people, and her name popped up on her, and I thought, shoot, I thought I was friends with her already. Maybe I better fix that. So, and you never know. Maybe they won't accept it, but I was glad that she did, and now I can see what they're doing, because for so long I had the limit. I was at 5,000, and I went in there here a while back and I deleted a bunch of people that never make posts or I don't see their stuff, you know, and I thought, well, that'll give some new ones time to get in. And I hadn't added anybody except the people that had messaged me or sent me requests. And then I seen Lisa, so I thought that was the thing to do.
Very good. FAFO Pro Staff, I think that's Aaron, if I'm not mistaken, or a friend of Aaron's. Welcome to the chat. Thanks for the subscribe for the sub.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Hey, there's Slick.
What's up, Slick? How you doing, bud?
Glad to see him in here. I hope they get some water in his lake down there. I haven't seen any of his posts lately, but last year they drained that lake where he fishes by his house. I believe it's by his house. And man, he showed some video of that, and it was just unbelievable how sad it looked. Even the places that he'd talk about where he used to fish, and there was no water even close to him. So hopefully they got whatever was broken down there fixed where he get water back in there. But it's going to take a long time before he'd be able to catch fish like he was catching.
I saw SK had a post out there. He was showing his ramp where he launches, and a lot of his videos, you can see the fillet table right next to where he launches over there. And yeah, the water was way down. I don't know if Slick and him fish the same lake, but if so,
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, I forget the lake that SK fishes, but the water was way down.
I think he fishes Lake Houston, don't he?
I think he might.
And I think Slick's up. I think he's in Arkansas now. I might be wrong about that. He'll let us know.
He says it's 4 feet low.
Wow.
Uncle Tuck says, walleye are popular here in North Dakota. It's overhyped a bit, in my opinion. I'm excited for spring on the Red River. There you go. Red River.
Well, the Red River is full of channel cats, so I know what I'd be doing if I was there. Oh, maybe so. Lake Houston, he said. Okay. But yeah. I never have understood. I know why they do it. I don't understand it, but you can't tell the Corps engineers. They know everything.
Matt says there's a lake down here in Arkansas called Conway. It's sad. I don't even think they started working on it.
Wow. That's too bad, because if I remember correctly, I've been across that lake. It's pretty good size.
It's a good crappie lake, too, if I'm not mistaken. I hear the Brad over at Crappie Connection, I think it's called. He talks about it from time to time. So,
yep.
All right, back to the topic at hand. Gear-wise, do you change your gear at all for the ice out or the early spring fish, Lyle?
No.
No?
Nope. I use basically the same ultralight stuff. I might go with lighter line or something, but some of mine's got 4 pound. I don't use 2 pound tests. I use 4 and 6 mostly. I got some that's got 10 pound braid on it, but it's not very big around. But I really like 4 and 6 pound line, and early in the year I might use a little more 4 pound than I do 6 pound.
I got all my stuff spooled up for 6, so that's going to have to work for the most part as far as my panfish and walleye. Well, the stuff I use for walleye, I run like a 20-pound braid, which has got a really thin diameter, especially since it's 832. And then I always tie floral leaders to it, like an 8-pound floral leader. This way I can use that same rod and reel set up for trolling for walleye or for casting jigs to them and so on. It's kind of like my utility knife of fishing for that species. So one thing that I do is I like using smaller baits this time of year, Lyle.
Mm-hmm.
A lot smaller. For panfish, I'm always using those Berkley 1-inch gulps. I'll most likely use those or the itty bitties or from the itty bitty shads from what's the name of the plastic company? Can't believe I forgot them.
Okay.
Bobby Garland, Garland itty bitties. I'll use some small hand ties. Actually, I started tying a couple of them. We'll see how they work. Just use a little bit of a bucktail on them. So we're going to try them, and a couple I did with some feathers, but I use those 1/64th ounce jigs with the 10-inch hook. We'll see how they work this early time, but hopefully we'll do all right. You can't go wrong with live bait like minnows and stuff for the most part. Anything you can keep still. If you're going to throw a drop shot, keep that bait where it's at for a while. Just jiggle whatever you have on the end of there. Bounce it up and down, and tie your drop shots closer to the bottom. Fish are still going to be close to the bottom this time of year, even in the shallows. So they're just too lazy, and that's where they're staying for the most part.
You know what'll work really good right now? Red worms are pieces of night crawlers on a drop shot rig for bluegill.
Yep. Or if you still have waxies available at your bait shop, you can't go wrong with like a number 6 hook on a drop shot. Just having it there, you'll get that bait down and it'll work. Obviously, you can always use a float, a bobber, whatever you want to call it.
Absolutely, that is deadly combination. There's a lot of people, that's the only way they fish for bluegill.
I'm pretty much with them too. You keep the what I'm trying to get to is I like to keep the bait in front of them for as long as possible.
Right.
And that's pretty much that pretty much is what pays for me for the most part. As far as like hard baits, jerk baits work pretty good because they'll stay stagnant wherever when you're fishing them. They will stay. You jerk it twice and then you stop. Longer pauses, lot longer pauses. Those jerk baits will stay buoyant. They'll stay in the water column for as long as you pretty much want them. You can't go wrong with them this time of year too. So I wouldn't do much more than that. Or if you're going to use like a swim jig, slow roll retrieves, 100%. Slow it. So.
And if you can get it slow enough right now, some really tiny inline spinners.
Yep. And those little ones are good because you can barely turn that reel handle and they'll stay. They'll stay up. They'll stay spinning and they won't move very far at all.
That's right.
So pretty good.
That's right.
doesn't take a lot of water to turn that blade and keep that tiny little spinner, that Panther Martin in the water. So those are fun to fish with.
Oh, I think so too.
I have a St. Croix trout rod, which is like, it's like an ultra light rod, and it's super light. I got 4-pound fluorocarbon on there, and that's what I've used in the past for those little Panther Martins. And I'll catch sunfish with it. I'll catch perch. I've caught crappie with it. It's a heck of a bait. So
I have to agree with FAFO. 6-pound Berkley low vis green, that's hard to beat. It really is. And I have some slime line from the boys out east in 6-pound that I get along well with, but that Berkley low vis is really, really hard to beat.
I'm a firm believer that it don't really matter for like panfish for the most part. Walleye, I like using a fluoroliter, but for crappie or for bluegill, I've never had a problem with high vis line. So braid you can't go wrong with either. If you're talking about the Berkley braid, because you're going to feel a lot more bites, especially if you're vertical jigging or if you're using a drop shot. So
yep. Buggy crickets and slide bobber. Hey, that's another great combination. Crickets seem to work anytime the water's not frozen. I mean, they just do. They're a great bait.
Hey, there's fishing with Kedra. I think I got it right this time. She was telling us how to say her name this morning in Buggy's chat, or in Aaron's chat. She says, watching from the Mississippi. Hey, everyone. Well, welcome. Thanks for subbing to the channel.
Yeah, absolutely. Mississippi, I bet she's got warmer weather than we and probably no ice.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Never been to Mississippi. I'd like to make it down there one of these days.
Oh, yeah. Ray Smith, member for 24 months. My buddy from Arkansas. He's a great guy. He follows a lot of channels, and he's been following Catfish Weekly and Panfish Nation nearly since the inception. He's just a good guy. We appreciate him being in here tonight.
And Josh is making some edits tonight of something that one of us said. I kind of have an idea what it was, but
really, I wouldn't know.
See what else we got in here. People saying hello and stuff. So, one thing, that water's cold. 40-degree water will mess you up, folks. Stay safe. Wear boots you're not going to slip in. Watch where you're walking.
Be very careful.
You know, everybody's excited to get back out on the water. Wear warm clothes. Wear boots that don't slip. Be cautious. If you fall in the water, don't stay out there, because even if it's 40 degrees water temp and 50-degree air temp, you're still at risk of getting hypothermia, stuff like that. So dress for safety, dress for warmth. Hypothermia is no joke.
If you're not a really, really strong swimmer, put a life jacket on.
You can do that too. 100%. And this is the time of year too, Lyle. I'm not familiar with all around the country, but what happens this time of year every year in probably all the states?
James Dockery catches a bunch of fish.
That happens too, but licenses expire.
That's right. The end of February, I believe, in Missouri. It may be later than that, but it's not. You know, Mark, I don't keep track of it now that I don't have to buy them any longer.
I know. We're not doing this for you. We're doing this for the people in chat, the people listening on.
But they do. I think maybe it's the end of March, but it's in the first 3 or 4 months of the year in our state that it doesn't matter if you bought them in December, they're still coming up, you know. Mm-hmm. So you got to renew your license, and you're right. That the last thing you want to do is have a great day out on the water, and when you're getting ready to go home, get checked and your license be expired, because they don't care if they expired yesterday or not. They have a job to do, and pretty much going to do
it. Matt's laughing at me for saying 40s may not be that cold of water. Yeah, it's pretty cold.
It's too cold for me.
The Benwell ladies say safety first. We are done ice fishing for the season. Right on.
There you
like
go.
To hear it.
What?
Hello, how you doing? Late again. What's going on, Mr. Angler? How you doing?
Appreciate you. I just caught Buggy's comment. 275. If that's for license, why so high?
I think Buggy's is $2. Is it maybe 275 for the lifetime?
I don't know. Maybe he needs to explain that.
Look at this. Denise over at Misplaced Country Girl says, found out my usual fishing spot on the Kentucky River is finally not underwater for now. It's maxed out at 40 feet. Flood level is 33. That's a lot of water.
That's a lot of water.
He says it cost him $275 this year. Maybe that's for the rest of his lifetime.
I hope so. I hope he lives forever. Joe Buck says in Georgia, it's a year after you bought the license.
Oh, okay. Well, that's probably the fair way to do it.
Well, I agree, but that's not how they do it here.
That's not how they do it here. Here they do it on trout opening weekend. They stock a lot of the places around here with stocker trout. So what they do is they make licenses expire the day before trout season opens up. And I'm telling you, Mr. Green Jeans is out there checking licenses, making sure you got your trout stamps, all that good stuff that day. It's like a honey pot for the DNR. And after we talk a little more about this, I got something I got to air out here. We'll talk about it here in a minute. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. It'll upset a bunch of people. But Benoit says make sure they have the correct states and up to date as well. If you're a multi-state angler, I buy for Illinois and I buy for Wisconsin so far. Anything else, I'll do a temporary one, but those are the ones that I do. I think I pay $50 in Wisconsin and I pay $15 here in Illinois, and then it's $10 for a salmon stamp for each one. So it adds up in the long run. So.
Oh, I see what he's talking about.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Make sure you don't get caught.
Yeah, that's never good. Never good. It's kind of like speeding. Although I rarely drive the speed limit, even in my old age, if you get caught, it's going to cost you money.
So, Lyle, now I'm looking to see how much time we got here, because this is really going to upset. Well, it's not only good. Well, you might laugh at it.
I probably will.
You probably will, because it has to do with Illinois.
I most definitely probably will.
I was sent a link to an article and a post that a gentleman who was a conservation officer here in Illinois. And he's been doing some research, and it turns out that the DNR's budget is like $280 million from all the money from tackle sales, license sales, hunting licenses, cost for tags. That's how much was collected in the last year.
Wow.
You know how much they can account for, Lyle?
I'm guessing a third of that.
$160 million. Everything else is missing.
Yeah. Somebody's got a fat hip pocket, man.
I'm telling you. And it's unfortunate that happens. So I was pretty much I was in shock when I read that article. It was pretty crazy.
I have an idea of how to fix that problem.
We can't say that because we'll get the channel booted.
Elon Musk.
What?
Elon Musk.
Oh, yeah, we can send him over there. Really make people mad. I read that today, and it just kind of blew my mind.
It's nuts, man. It really is
crazy. You know, for the longest time, the DNR in most of the states was pretty good. You donated the money by buying your licenses and tags and all of that stuff, and the 10% that comes off of fishing tackle purchases and bait purchases.
I'm all good with all that.
That was all collected, and that all went to it. And it used to be used wisely, but not so much anymore. And that's really unfortunate, because they're trying to raise the cost of everything here in Illinois as well. So
You're right, Ryan. Hey,
Ryan says, send in big balls.
Mike Irwin has joined us. Glad to see you, buddy. Well, I'm going to pass on that.
It's disheartening, isn't it? It really kind of upset me. So
there's no reason for it to be like that. No,
not at all.
But some of that's been going on in different places for years and years. We just get a handle on it now. We got a shot.
And a lot of times, for a bunch of years, I don't hunt, but I would get the hunting and fishing combo just to donate because I thought that money was going to a good cause. I'm sorry to say that's probably not going to happen anymore because you can't trust them. So,
well, that's exactly right. I made the statement that I might buy my fishing license every year anyhow, because you can check if you don't believe what I'm fixing to say, but Missouri is one of the most revered conservation departments in the nation. They do great studies. I don't agree with all of them, and I think that they should spend more time on certain things than they do others. Regardless, when they make a decision, they've probably done a 5-year study on it, and they're probably really correct about what they want to do. So I don't mind the money going to them being whatever they do with it. I never complain about it too much. Except for them billions of dollars they spent on them sturgeons. Screw them things. But regardless, they make wise decisions and do the correct things. For whatever reason, they won't put the regulations on the Mississippi River that they can do because they don't want a confrontation with Illinois. I say screw them, put them on there anyhow. And then when them Illinois guys come over there, if they don't have the right stuff, if they got too many fish, especially the commercial guys, they're in trouble because they don't have ramps over there. So they come to Missouri, use our ramps, and use Illinois license. What the hell's up with that?
As far as like the laws go, like on a waterway like the Mississippi, Mississippi is between Illinois and Missouri, Illinois and Iowa, Iowa and Wisconsin and
right.
And Minnesota, how reciprocity works between those. But I do know an angler who caught what he thought was a state record catfish, and the waterway he was on was a multiple state waterway, and he didn't have all the right titles, and they didn't give or all the right licensing, and they didn't give him that record.
That's too bad. Yeah. That is too bad. It really is. Not the current world record, but the one before it that was caught at, pardon me, the confluence of the Mississippi and Missouri. That was one of them deals that could have went a different direction because of the way it was done. But that fish had to show it off too much, and the fish didn't survive. But that happens sometimes. But you have to watch those things, where you're at, what you're doing. If you want to get that recognition for catching a record, you better have all your ducks in a row. One of the big problems with doing that, and it doesn't seem to matter what state you're in, because as far as I know, if you catch a record fish, it has to be certified on certified scales, and there has to be an officer from the Conservation Department or DNR, whatever your state calls them, there to verify it. And invariably, you cannot get them guys down there usually in time to save the fish.
Well, Corey had that problem down in Louisiana. They couldn't get the guy out of bed. So
right. And I'm telling you, he'd have come down there to arrest me because the things I'd have talked to him about on the phone, he would have been wanting to get a hold of me.
Mm-hmm.
He'd have got there. I might have took some grief over it, but I'd have got him out of bed. I'd have been hot enough. He'd come down there to see me.
Hey, Lyle, I hate to do this. I'm going to go dark and mute my mic for a minute. I got an emergency call that just came in.
No problem. You take care of that. Right. I got you. Outdoor Addiction, glad to see you in here. And Matt says it's sad they won't honor another state when they share the waterway. That's 100% correct. but that's the way some of them do. Now, all of them are not like that. Some of them go along with that, and all you got to do is say, I caught it here or there, and get that state official to come in there and check them, certify the fish, and you're good to go. And it doesn't matter if it's a big flathead or blue. It doesn't matter if it's a bluegill or crappie. It don't make no difference. It just, they're all like that. So it is what it is. But Matt says, I get a hard card so I can reuse it again, and it donates to state. I don't know what.
I apologize for that, Lyle. I had to take
Hey,
that.
no problem. No problem. I don't know what a hard card is. If you could, maybe you can explain that to us so we understand. Lyle would sick Dockery on him. Yeah. Oh, man. I seen some pictures a while ago that Josh posted of some midget wrestlers, and I thought that would surely was Dockery and another little guy.
Wow. I go off screen for a minute and it's already off the rails.
Well, you leave me alone. That's why Josh and Chad won't let me share screens.
I'm sorry for that again, but I had to take
Don't
that.
worry. You got to take care of what you got to take care of. We'll be all right. I'm pretty sure I'm probably getting dirty messages. What do you think?
That could be. I wouldn't count on it. So when's the next time you think you'll be able to get out to fish, Lyle?
This weekend, I'm hoping.
Yeah.
I sure am.
I got some stuff going on with my mom for the next few days. So it might be next week. Hopefully we can get out there. I don't know if I'll get the boat out on the water, but at least I'll go do a little bank fishing once it opens up. So I'll be looking forward to that 100%.
Oh, I keep using the wrong mouse here. I got too many things going on here, but I got to share this. Josh says he was confused at first. He thought it was Dockery and Chris Lee.
Uncle Tuck says, I can fish the red in a boat with either North Dakota or Minnesota, but I get both so I can bank fish from both sides. That makes sense.
There you go. I've been up there where you're fishing then, because I've been to Grand Forks and fished up there in the Cat's Incredible tournament, and I had a great time up there. But that's a long drive.
I'd like to go up there and fish. That's on my bucket list for sure.
Well, if you go to the Red River, Mark, we need to go on up to the dam in Canada and fish up there.
I'm not going to Canada.
Why?
I'm not a fan.
Well, I'm not either, but I want to catch 4,000 or 5,000 pounds of channel cat in 3 days.
All right, we'll go. Matt says a hard copy is a permanent card that you keep from your state, like Missouri. It comes with your information on it, so you don't have to get another paper license. Yeah, we have those in Illinois too, and in Wisconsin.
We have a conservation card. They call it something else, but it has your conservation number on it. Mm-hmm. But you still have to buy a license. But if you lose your license or it gets misplaced, they can take that number and get all your information right off of it without any difficulties whatsoever.
Did we say hello to Jesse? Jesse, how you doing? Thanks for coming in, bud. Hopefully everything's good with you. There's Mike Irvin. I think I heard you say hello to him. I want to make sure I say hello to Mike.
Absolutely. Mike's been a supporter for a lot of channels for a very long time. It's great to see him in here.
Uncle Tuck says, stop and grab Luke on your way up.
That's where I met Luke.
Yeah, he gave up fishing for golf, I hear.
That's what I understand, yeah. I went to fish the Cat's Incredible tournament up there, and this little chubby kid come walking up to me and says, Mr. Stokes, I have something for you. And I said, what's that? He said, frogs. I said, do I need them? He looked at me and he said, yes, you do. And it was Luke Hinges. That was, I don't know, 20 years ago, 15, been a long time. But I never forgot him, and he never forgot me, and we've met up several times since then. We've been in the boat together a time or two, and we usually get together sometimes for dinner and sometimes for other things. And One of the big deals with Luke, one year, Doc Lang and I was doing the catfish conference down in Louisville, and it was the day before that it opened up, and we was setting up and getting everything ready to go for the next day. And all the vendors was doing the same thing that night. And we went live and we was talking, and him and I hadn't got to see any of the stuff and knew that we wouldn't the next day. And here come Luke. So we got Luke over there and we was talking to him, and lo and behold, here come Dieter Melhorn. And Doc and I said, have it, boys. And we took off so we could walk through the place and see what all was there, and left the twos with it. They had a blast, and we did too.
So a lot of pictures from CatCon. It looked like everybody had a good time. So
yeah,
all that matters. Well, Lyle, let's see. What did we talk about here as far as ice out fishing? You want me to kind of give an overview of it real quick before we end it tonight? Timing. Get out there and look. Go check your spots. Get information from other anglers if you see them out there. Try to get water temps. Check weather for sunny days. Your best bet is on sunny days this time of year, so you definitely want to do that. Be safe, obviously. That was another thing that we talked about. Targeting the shallower areas, warmer areas. The shallower areas are going to be warm. Fish are starting to move up. Not necessarily even to spawn just yet. They just like the warmth of the shallower areas. Gear-wise, keep it simple. Minimal tackle, 4 to 6 pound test, 8 maybe. You might be able to get away with if you're fishing for a larger species like walleye. Your normal rods usually it'll work. If you want to lighten it up a little bit, feel free. It can't hurt. Use small baits, small plastics, small hand ties. Use jerk baits, anything you can keep in front of the fish for the longest time. Don't rush your drop shots, things like that. I think they'll definitely help you in the long run. And keep an eye out for pay attention. You're going to get a lot more subtle bites this time of year. You're going to get a lot more inhales and fish that are going to reject your bait. But if you keep an eye on it, you can set that hook. You'll be all right. So sensitive rod, sensitive line, they definitely don't hurt. Let's see. Fish the bottom for walleyes, obviously. Drag jigs, that helps. You can drag your baits along the bottom. Just do it slow. Slack water this time of year, definitely. They're not going to want to be in any current. So, and most of all, like I said, stay safe. Keep your safety always at the top of on your mind. And you'll be all right. You'll have a good spring. And welcome to fishing season 2025, Lyle. I think it's going to start now.
I think so too. And I'm ready to go. And I know a lot of other people are ready to go. So we can get everything lined out where everybody can go out this year and catch a lot of fish and have a good time. And just selective harvest is your friend. Don't ever forget it. Hey, there's Creole.
I'm going to select me the first smallmouth bass I catch after that I can keep. It's coming home with me, I think.
Oh, man. I'm going to do some bass catching cooks if I catch them this year like I did last year.
There's Creole. What's going on, everybody? You guys know that Creole's got a guide service. If you're down there in Louisiana, give him a ring. Also, Dan on the James. Make sure you check them out. They're always good supporters of ours, always have been. So we like to support them for sure.
And if you're not planning on going down to the great state of Louisiana where Creole's at, and you're thinking about a guide, call him up anyhow because you'll have a great time with him. And you might catch a 100-pound fish. His brother did. I got to catch so many bass last year with the fly rod, Mark, that they need to be thinned out. There's just too many.
There you go. Go after them. Get them done.
That's what I'm thinking. Over harvest.
They were still probably fun to catch on that fly rod, weren't they?
On that fly rod, everything's fun to catch.
Yes.
They really are. And them rock bass, they don't get very big. 10-inch one is a really good one. They fight really hard, kind of like them yellow perch. They just fight really hard. And on a fly rod, oh, damn, it's a blast.
You mean bluegill? Yellow perch don't fight hard at all.
The ones down here do.
Do they?
Huh. Oh, yeah.
Interesting. pretty much dead weight around here. Wet socks.
Oh
little
no,
wet
they
socks.
fight hard down here.
Huh,
Maybe
interesting.
maybe it's just the breeding we have here.
Could be.
You know, I won't go there.
Yeah, that's I a couple of ways that could have went. I was thinking. I figured I better not. On that note, Lyle, you got anything else for the good folks?
I don't. Other than Chad and the boys will be on, I assume, tomorrow night. They'd probably be talking about the Catfish Conference, would be my guess. I don't really know. Thank you, Joe Buck. We appreciate that very much. Stay safe. Go out and catch some fish. It's going to be warm this weekend in most of the areas that I've seen. At least on like Friday or Saturday, it's going to be really nice. And go out and catch you a couple. Have some fun. Just be careful and don't let anything happen. Hey, Dog and I Outdoors. Glad to see you made it.
What's going on, Dog and I? How you doing? What Lyle said, everybody get out there, get the fishing, and I'm officially calling the open water 2025 season open.
There we go.
All right, everybody, have a great night. Nope, that's not going to work, Josh. He's trying to get me to play something here. Look at this.